Good day, everyone. I'm Raimond from Raamsdonk, and I am part of Gracenote. I'm based in Amsterdam, and I'm Director of Product Management. And today we're going to talk about innovation in the entertainment experience. So let's get started. Today I want to cover a couple of topics, and one of them is Gracenote. And so you have a good understanding who we are and also what we're doing and in this investing in the Polish market in terms of innovation. And then I'm going to talk about the trends that are shaping the search and discovery use cases. And after that, we are going to explore the evolution of data sets that can help you connect better to your customers and and the content. And last but not least, we're going to do the concluding comments, and we'll have a Q&A session with Barbara Erling from Press Magazine, who's also on this call. All right, Gracenote. So Gracenote is an entertainment data and technology company, and basically we power the top cable, satellite TV providers, streaming platforms, consumer electronics manufacturers, music service, and so on. And we are part of the Nielsen Group, and we joined the Nielsen Group in 2017. And you might wonder where we fit in the ecosystem, so let's have a look at that. So Gracenote operates at the development stage of the content chain and all the way to distribution. So what we do, we aggregate and normalize, enrich the metadata that is associated to all the content in a market, and we add a unique ID to that, the Gracenote ID. And this powers consumer product interfaces and discovery algorithms. And last but not least, it also complements the Nielsen business where the business is focused on the measurement of consumption. And you may have heard my colleague speak yesterday about what we're doing on that front. So let's have a look at what kind of areas the Gracenote data plays a core role at. So we are active in different areas, ranging from consumer electronics to automakers, and it's very likely that you have been exposed to the Gracenote metadata throughout your day. So for example, if you're driving your car and listening to content in the entertainment system, or enjoying a sports event like the Olympic Games, or watching your favorite soccer team play a match, our metadata plays a unique role and an important role to really optimize our customers in the discovery experience and user experience overall. So where do we do this? We operate in 85 different countries and territories, and in the recent years, we have been investing heavily in the European region. And looking at the European region, this is a selection of the kind of customers we serve. So it's a mix of pan-European customers that are focused on the European markets like Liberty Global, Comhem, and Deutsche Telekom. And this is where we power their next generation TV platforms. And it's also a mix of global operating customers like Amazon. And for example, with Amazon, we help them power their Alexa virtual assistants to help consumers find the best content where possible. So what makes us unique? The Gracenote ID is becoming the currency of the digital entertainment system across video, music, and sports. And it's basically the go-to standard for the industry to power platforms that have content that is available across different sources. And we allow them to streamline universal search, navigation, content discovery, and really help them to increase the user experience and all their important KPI. And this is eventually tied together with the news and audience measurement solutions, and that will open up new use cases and products in the future that we are very excited about. So let's have a look on what we tie around that Gracenote ID. So what kind of metadata do we have? There are different data sets tied to the Gracenote ID, and this will basically allow our customers not to worry about complex integrations with all their content partners and really focus on other areas in their business. And this is what we are planning to launch in the Polish market. So as I said, we are investing in innovation, specifically in Poland. And when we invest in a new market, we really focus on editorial excellence. And in a market like Poland, we need to put the best in class and to drive that editorial excellence. And this is done by a local team that really understands the market and the domain. So we have local teams across the world, and we're placing a team in the Polish market as well. And we have been onboarding the Gracenote editorial team that is joining our Nielsen office in Warsaw. And that's our content hub for the Polish market, making sure that we capture the market and all the relevant content for our consumers. And we are really excited to launch with a tier one operator this year. In addition, we are also investing in datasets focused on search and discovery. So let's have a look at trends that are happening in this area. So let's zoom out a little bit. So like 10, 15 years ago, the world was pretty simple in the video landscape. We have TV channels, lineups, and having metadata was, creating a basic a grid and finding content that was relevant to you was pretty simple to consumers. But nowadays, a lot of new services has been launched by global players, local players, content players. Everyone is jumping into the video space. So if we break this down, we see a explosion of content being created, whether it's global or in your own market. Everyone is creating more and more content. And this is really an important, but also an overwhelming experience. And I will talk about that later. What we also see is that people are watching video across different sources and platforms and technologies. So that is important, that it's not only one way of watching and consuming the content. And research showed that 62% of the consumers are really struggling something to find and watch. So, for example, I have my mother reaching out once in a while to really ask, what do I need to watch? What is really cool? So this is a big challenge for the industry to fix because, we've been investing heavily in content, but customers are struggling to find what they really like. Another trend is that voice search is really gaining traction. I mentioned Alexa, but there are other companies locally and globally that are investing heavily in this space. So we believe the future is with bringing the most relevant content and recommendations personalized to the consumer, and that you also want to put more focus on the visual merchandising around content. And I will touch upon that later. And this would really allow active discovery for users. So to really cater to these two trends is that we have developed two data sets for this purpose, and we're going to zoom in on this a little bit more. So first, I'm going to talk about something we call video descriptors. Because of all the challenges in the content discovery, that I just mentioned, Gracenote has designed a unique taxonomy that we call video descriptors. And it enables the content recommendation solutions of our customers to do more nuanced recommendations. And recommendations, as you know, are traditionally driven on genres and other metadata. So just have a look at that. So on the left, you see what a traditional recommendation would look like on a average platform. You had a movie, Black Panther, and it will have a action movie, recommended content because it's an action movie from a genre point of view. With the Gracenote video descriptors, you can do more compelling and nuanced suggestions based on other characteristics of the content. So this movie is about superheroes, or it's a race against time. So let's have a look at what level of nuance we can bring. So here's a breakdown of the descriptors associated with this famous Polish TV show. I will not dare to pronounce it because my Polish is not really up to par. So forgive me for not pronouncing it. But as you can see, we have assigned descriptors to different categories, characters, the setting of the content, the theme, the scenario, and the moods. And within each categories, we have assigned the most relevant descriptors, so really capturing the essence of the content. So in this case, the concept source was a novel, and it's about unnatural deaths and disappearances, for example. By doing this for the most important content on the platforms, you can reach a great uplift in relevancy and also retention. So let's break down and have a look at visual merchandising. So for this use case, we have developed something that we call personalized images. And let's have a look at that. And first of all, the use cases and challenges that we have. So as you know, maybe not today because we are still half in a lockdown due to the pandemic, but there is a certain threshold on how much time a consumer browses to find the content that they really like. And program recommendations are hard to differentiate with with default imagery. and the imagery may not show all major aspects of a program. So what do we mean by that? So with the personalized images, we are captivating images that portray key aspects of programs. So you see this visualized on the screen right now. So on the left, you have the same video platform showing the same content to the man on the left and the women on the right. But the images for the same shows are different, and these are tailored to their taste or based on their taste profile that our customers have developed over time. And by using our personalized images, they can present the most relevant image to that consumer and pull them into the content. Here's a breakdown. So we have Emma and Ethan, both eager and open towards the same content, but because of their taste profile, it will be possible to show different images to Emma compared to Ethan. So concluding, the visual merchandising of content is really, really important to really show the highlight of the content that you put in front of customers. And it is definitely increasing viewership, and it will boost audience satisfaction. And we did a pilot with a top 5 streaming platform. And by presenting the most resonant program images for each viewer, the streaming provider in this case moved the needle on the KPIs, which benefited their business. So this was really, really exciting. So coming into the conclusions, the providers will battle for viewership. Content growth will continue. We don't see any signs it will decrease. Everyone is investing all their pennies into content. And providers, I think, will compete on rich user experience, making sure that they bring the right content to the users, but also have a engaging user experience that make content discovery easy. And we believe that metadata is an important role to enable that user experience. And people and platforms that invest in this innovation next to their content will most likely win this battle. So that's it of the formal side of this session. And I'm going to hand it over to Barbara for an in-depth Q&A session.
Thank you, Raimond, for the presentation. It was very insightful and thought-provoking. I can actually put you out of the mystery and tell you how to pronounce well the name of the program. So it's called W Głębi Lasu.
Głębi Lasu.
Yeah, not so hard though, compared to other weird Polish words. Yeah, anyway, let's have a little discussion to break out the subject from your presentation in a little bit more detail. So I was thinking, because broadcasters and SVOD providers have been experiencing record audience growth during pandemics. And as we slowly return to normality, users will make more precise choices of content. And how important effective content navigation, dynamic storefront, search and discovery capabilities are going to be for content providers, and can it actually help them boost the audience engagement and loyalty?
Yeah, so yes, so we are currently in a pandemic, and what we have seen globally is that everyone that is in the video space or in content are most likely growing because people have more time to spend. But thank God this is going to change, and we're allowed to see each other in person again. And then this battle about the eyeballs that I just briefly touched upon will start again. So making sure that you bring a fast user experience of bringing the right content in front of the customer, whether it's long form or short form content, and help them make the decision easier, and also make sure that the content is great is really, really important. And yeah, I think in the coming years, this will be even more severe because you only have so much to spend as a consumer. So fighting for time spent is really the essence of the business moving forward.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and people all around the world are seeking to be connected with the wealth of available content. And how are entertainment providers facilitating these connections? And what are the biggest issues in content presentation and the recommendation?
Yeah, so I think one of the biggest challenges is the amount of content. So the investment companies need to do in buying or licensing the content is tremendous, but they probably only show the top 5% in their UI, on home pages due to editorial decisions. But having the capability to show content that is also in the library that costs a decent amount of money is just, which is very catered to a specific audience, to bring that in front of your customer. And this would allow you to utilize and monetize your VOD library much more efficient. So that is one key challenge. So I call it the paradox of choice. So how does this work? So when you, for example, go into a supermarket, and I love peanut butter, and there will be 25 bottles of peanut butter in the store, I will be very stressed out. And not only me, but it's proven by research that giving too much choice will not help, and it will cause anxiety with consumers. And this also applies to the video space. So having all these rows of content that you can choose from is very overwhelming. And I think that is something that needs to be really put in mind and thought about. Other challenges are, for example, recommending content that is not appropriate to a certain audience in your recommendations. So, for example, recommending horror content to children, or the other way around, children's content to adults that don't have children. So I think these are one of the couple of challenges that are ahead of us.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and during the presentation, you said that some of Gracenote metadata goes beyond genre descriptions and delves into much more granular elements of content, such as mood or setting, you have said. So what does this mean for the entertainment user experience?
Yeah, so first of all, how we add mood, for example, to this police program that I still can't pronounce, is done by an editorial team in Poland. So they know the content and they know how to set the descriptors. So, and mood is it's hard to measure, and it's a conceptual thing. But the use case you can do with mood descriptors is, for example, create a more for example, you can build a use case or a UI asking the customer how they feel. Do you want, are you lighthearted, and do you want, easy content? Then this descriptor can be used to solve that issue. And so that is one way of the granularity that is in our data set. But we also have other data sets. So, for example, we have a rich database of all celebrities in globally, where we add all the characteristics to celebrities in our database. So also, for example, I like Kate Winslet a lot. She's a great actress. So content with Kate Winslet in it, whether it's on TV or on a VOD library, will be very relevant for me. So combining the rich metadata that Gracenote has in algorithms discovery solutions of our customers, it allows them to bring the best and most relevant content in front of their customers.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and could you please elaborate on the business benefits of delivering better user experience?
Sure. So just going back to me again. So Kate Winslet, and so if the video service that I'm using knows better what I'm really keen on. So for example, I watch a lot of content of Kate Winslet, and maybe the content that I watched were more cultural driven. Knowing these characteristics, this would allow this company to build a taste profile of me specifically. And if they would bring the right content in front of me, I would, just connect more, and I will just consume more, because it will be my go-to platform to watch content. Because I don't need to spend 50 minutes, browsing all the rows and carousels to find something that I would like to watch.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and about Kate Winslet, I love her too.
Yes, she's amazing.
Yeah, and during pandemics, the values of people have changed, and how important now are people's values in making decision on TV and entertainment choices?
Yeah, so people's values are extremely important. So what we do as a metadata company, great as Gracenote, is we respect every value, but we don't have any opinion in how we assign metadata to programs. So we try to capture every value that is relevant to humankind and make sure that it's covered in our metadata. So we are not in the discussion of people's values, or we don't have any means. We are very neutral, in the same way as Nielsen is neutral in measurement. So we have a neutral position, and we really value everyone's position and interest. So yeah, that's how we perceive that.
Yeah, and also during the presentation, you touched upon the visual content merchandising, and you said that it's more important than ever to providers. So what are the personalization opportunities taking advantage of this?
Yeah, so I think this is a very interesting use case. So you may have seen it yourself using a global video service that images are changing. And as I showed you from the pilots that we have run with our customers, it gives an uplift in time spent and how much people watch the content. So it really proves that bringing the most relevant images, for example, a movie with Kate Winslet in it, but she's not playing the main lead, and the poster that is associated to the movie, it doesn't even have her, in it. But if they put a poster or in front of me seeing Kate Winslet in that movie, so having another image for the same movie would really, for me as a user, be a way to tie me into the content, because Kate is in it, I like it, so I'm gonna watch it. So yeah, this is really the space that we are exploring and still investing in to see where we can add value.
Yeah, and you're launching your service in Poland right now. Congratulations!
Thank you.
But what are the key insights you have learned from other markets you operate in that would be valuable for Polish providers to know?
Yeah. So what we see in other European markets is that some companies have a strategy of being the aggregator of all content. So there are platforms that have integrated Netflix and Amazon and linear channels and their own VOD library, and that's they're offering to their users. And this is where we, play a great role, because we, make sure that all the data is normalized and they can, focus on that experience and selling the subscriptions. The other thing we are seeing is that people are still trying to really see how the video business model would play out. So I think asphalt is very dominant currently, but I think there will be people are also starting to explore the AVOD model much more, or combining asphalt with AVOD on one platform and do sort of a dual monetization, because it's really, you have to invest a certain amount of money to build an asphalt catalog, and as I just told you, it's probably only the top 5 to 10% content that's being watched. The rest is just in the backlog. So having a data set to bring more content that is relevant to the user in front of them is what we learned, a trend that people are really eager to learn more about that, and because it's all about making sure that you have return on investment on your content and in your strategy.
That's nice you said about the data set. When I was a data journalist, I had so many problems with data sets, and it's not so nice to deal with. So how does Gracenote manage the complex task of data collection, curation, normalization, and distribution for all the countries it covers?
Well, that's an excellent question. It probably will be another 30-minute session to go over all the depth of that. But as I showed you, we are in 85 different countries, so we need to have a company and technology in place to have scalability. So, for example, on EPG channels, we cover 40,000 channels worldwide. So the 200 channels or the 200 plus channels that are in the Polish market, is part of that data set. So I think we can scale very, very well in technology. So having good ingest technology to process all the data, and also the human touch that we have on the data, making sure that the quality is there and that everything is covered. So that is done, by a broader team worldwide that is working around the clock. So whenever time it is in the day, there will always be Gracenote employees working to to update metadata and to make sure we bring the most relevant data to our customers.
That's a lot of work for sure. And how do you see the future of Gracenotes? What's next for you to achieve?
So specifically in Poland is to make sure that we, with the customers we have the right data for them to be successful, and grow with them, making sure that our roadmaps are aligned and that we are investing in the right data sets to grow together. Also the collaboration that is down the line with our Newsom colleagues is very interesting to see how that goes, and what we can bring there. And we will keep investing on the use cases of search and discovery, because we believe these are the biggest challenges that we have ahead. And we are never finished solving that issue, so we are constantly investing in that area. So that is, in short term, making sure we have the best data in Poland to be successful there, but also have the additional data sets to make sure we can grow together in the future.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, thank you, Raimond. That's a great conclusion of the Q&A session. It's been a pleasure talking with you.
Thank you, Barbara.
Yeah, thank you for all your insights about Gracenote, and I wish you success and enjoy the rest of the conference.
Thank you so much. Thank you.